Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
All to our speaker. Gandang hapon po. Gandang hapon po sa lahat. Before we start, I will discuss about the house rules muna. Okay. Dinig niyo po ako? Malinaw, malinaw?
Okay naman, sir. Yeah.
Malinaw. Okay. We are now going to start our pre-webinar lecture series. Again, yung mga hindi po member, sometimes medyo po nakakapasok sa atin yung mga hindi pa po member. Yan, nalulungkot ko pong sabihin na hindi po kayo makakakuha ng ng certificate pag wala po kayong, pag hindi po kayo member ng PICE UAE. However, we have some members who has some back dues, but for the meantime, dito sa unang seminar natin, may back due ka man or active member, meron po kayong free certificate. For the moment po. Pero pa sa susunod, we strictly going to implement na yung active member po. Active member means po na ibig sabihin, renewed po tayo for the same year. So yun po yung mga merong, although you can still access the webinar, pagkakaiba lang po, hindi po tayo makakakuha ng certificate pag hindi po tayo active member. Tapos, number 2 is has completed the online registration with personal information and full name, email address, and PRC ID for regular member. Later on po, magsisend po kami ng email sa inyo to provide the PRC ID number kasi po para makita ng PRC na sa inyo po yung certificate na yon. Tapos ito pong number 3 ang napaka-mandatory. They must complete the full webinar session and submitted the participants' evaluation as instructed. Next. Ito po yung magiging house rules natin. kamukha po nung nasabi ko dun sa unang primary qualification, yung number 1. Tapos Zoom cloud meeting, obviously, hindi po kayo access sa Zoom webinar pag wala po kayong Zoom cloud meeting application. And number 3, prior to start of the webinar, speaker and panelists will be introduced. Attendees shall turn off their audio and video in joining the webinar. Nakikiusap po ulit ako doon sa mga kasama natin, baka po hindi nyo po napansin, and as much as possible, keep your PC on speaker's view or i-minimize nyo po na lang yung mga video na nandun. Pwede rin po. It is going to appear on the upper right of your PCs or mobile. Tapos, there will be questions. May number 5 muna pala. Number 4, attendees are advised 10 minutes para mas maaga po kayo nagsipag-login. As I heard, yung iba 11 o'clock pa lang naka-login na. Number 5, attendees can send only their question through chat and to be screened and will be addressed after the session. But in this webinar session po, there will be a time na pwede pa rin po kayong magtanong na binabantayan din po ni speaker kung baka meron mga importanteng detail kayong tinatanong. So, minsan po, mag-ano siya, papansinin niya pa rin yung mga question nyo even in the middle of the discussion. Ito pong number 6 na to yung baka-babantayan nyo, there will be questions from the panelists or speakers and prizes as are waiting to the attendees chosen with correct answer. Ang inyong prize dito ay you have free access to the pre-webinar. Hindi po. Yung mga po dito, meron po tayong mga giveaways like t-shirts or mga pins na pwede namin ibigay na prize later on. And number 7, qualified attendees will receive an email for comments and reaction of the webinar before they receive their lecture and certificates online. So this is our program. We started on time. Actually, now we are going to introduce our speaker. Okay, our speaker for today is Engineer Hero Infante. He has a master's degree in construction management, of course, a civil engineer with 15 years experience in the UAE and other parts of the GCC. So, I guess siya na rin ang magpapakilala sa sarili niya later on. And I hope mag-enjoy po kayo and pakiusap ko po sa ating mga attendees na makinig po ng pumasok po kayo dito sa webinar na to para po matuto, hindi para po makakuha ng certificate. And I assure you na marami po kayong matututunan kasi po napaka-expert ni Engineer Hero Infante sa sa topic na i-discuss niya today. So hindi ko na po patatagalin. Engineer Hero Infante will going to introduce himself briefly and then he will discuss his topic. So enjoy the show po. Yun lamang po. Maraming salamat po. Please, Sir Mike, paki-turn on po yung audio ni Sir Hero. Okay. Sir Hero, it's all yours po.
Thank you, sir. Maraming salamat, sir, for that brief introduction. And of course, maraming salamat sa PICE BODs for having this opportunity. First time to have a seminar with PICE. I'll just discuss, or my seminar is all about infrastructure. Let me just share my screen.
Full screen na lang.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, good. So my topic for today is related to infrastructure projects in general. A brief introduction with regarding the infrastructure in general, infrastructure in the Philippines and here in the UAE. So just a short introduction to myself. I've been working for infrastructure project since 2006 when I arrived here in the UAE. I've worked 4 years in Dubai and then after that transferred to Abu Dhabi. Of course, I'm a member of PICE, a life member actually. Thanks for that. Specialist, PICE specialist of PMCE and an ASEAN engineer. And currently I'm working as a Chief Technical Officer of KN International Architects and Engineers. So our agenda for today is a short introduction to infrastructure, short or brief discussion regarding the current infrastructure in our home country, Philippines, para naman at least pag uwi natin, alam natin kung saan, if you are, let's say, if you consider working in an infrastructure project or shifting to a career or currently working on an infrastructure project in the UAE, may apply naman natin sa Pilipinas. And of course, the current status of the infrastructure projects in the UAE. And I'll discuss a case study that I have completed in my current company, the infrastructure works in Shamka with Musanada. And maybe we can, if you are willing to, or if you're planning to move or shift your career to infrastructure, maybe you might find yourself some opportunities in this.
I guess marami kang bubuhayin na dugo dyan pagdating sa job opportunities na yan.
Sana, sir. I think lahat naman tayo dito Filipino, so okay lang na Taglish yung discussion ko, di ba? Hindi ko na kailangan
sa inyo?
Walang problema, sir. Walang problema. Filipino lang.
All right, good. So let's start the seminar. Introduction to infrastructure. Ano ba ang infrastructure? What is infrastructure? According to Wikipedia, you can easily Google it. Infrastructure is the fundamental facility to function an economy, a country, or an area. Most of us, alam natin kapag infrastructure, we're talking about roads, utilities, railways, bridges, telecommunication, but there's a lot more. According to Investopedia, there are 3 types of infrastructure projects or infrastructure in general. One is a soft infrastructure. These are related to healthcare system, financial institution, education. So if you notice, like sa Pilipinas, we have like a project or we have a public PPP under the build system of the company of the government. We have this, we introduce construction of several schools in the government in the Philippines. Here, we have also some projects related to healthcare, but hindi natin madalas tukuyin to na infrastructure. Madalas minsan sinasabi natin to building projects, but these are also infrastructure. Then we have the hard infrastructure. I think this is where we are familiar. We have roads, bridges, sometimes even airports, metros or transits, utilities. These are called hard infrastructure. And lastly, we have critical infrastructure. These are related to telecommunication, sometimes related to defense, like a fiber optic cable, agriculture, like irrigation, public health, and safety. So these are the 3 main categories of infrastructure according to Investopedia. Although if you go to Wikipedia, they are only referring to 2 types of infrastructure, which is hard and soft infrastructure. So let's discuss. These are the types of infrastructure. Let's say, for example, a pipeline, water pipeline. This is a water pipeline in Liwa. The metro in Dubai, of course. We have dams in Fujairah. These are also called infrastructure, hard infrastructure. We have power grids. We have a treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant in Jebel Ali. And here in Abu Dhabi, we have a lot of treatment plants. We have, again, the LRT. This is in the Philippines. And even sometimes futuristic infrastructure like the Hyperloop. I'm sure nakita nyo na yan. I think they have the mock-up in Dubai, in RTA, because Dubai contracted Virgin Hyperloop to conduct or construct or conduct an Hyperloop here in Abu Dhabi or here in the UAE. So let's talk about infrastructure in general in the Philippines. Ano nga ba ang kondisyon ng infrastructure natin ngayon sa Pilipinas? I think aware naman tayo na napakalayo ng agwat natin in terms of infrastructure sa neighboring. Let's just talk about the neighboring countries sa Southeast Asia na lang. Let's not talk about Europe or even Middle East na ang tagal na ng Pilipinas na nagko-construct pero talagang napakalayo pa ng agwat natin. But now with the current administration, I'm sure a lot of you is aware na we are expanding the infrastructure of our country. Isa na dito, yung currently under design stage or engineering stage, yung Metro Manila Subway, itong Mactan Airport, this is already constructed. We have New Clark City, which is partially constructed, used in the Southeast Asian Game. Taga Norte po ako, taga Pampanga, so talagang excited ako dahil napakaraming infrastructure projects na nagaganap dun sa lugar namin. Isa sa Clark, we have the railway, we have New Clark City, we have the airport. So kaya nga medyo excited ako kapag infrastructure ang nababalita at nangyayari yung mga pinapangako ng gobyerno natin. So previously, or according to IMF, previously, napakababa po ng fund ng infrastructure project sa Pilipinas. Kaya talagang huling-huli tayo. Let me just check. So according to IMF, 3% of our GDP is being spent for infrastructure. 3% lang since 2011 to 2016. Kaya huling-huli tayo because other countries, talagang malaki ang percentage ng GDP nila na ini-spend kapag in terms of infrastructure. Because sabi nga natin kanina, infrastructure is the backbone of an economy of a country. In 2017, we start spending $15.7 billion in terms of infrastructure. Pero mababa pa po yan. Later on, makikita nyo, comparing sa UAE na napakaliit na bansa, compare sa Pilipinas na napakalaki, more than 100 million population, mukhang nagmamatch lang yung spending natin in terms of infrastructure. Although, this might change, or this will change, hopefully, in the coming years with our current administration. And I'm sure ipagpapatuloy pa rin ng mga susunod na administrasyon kasi napakaganda ng epekto nito. Now, in 2019, we have spent 5.2% of our GDP in terms of infrastructure. And in 2022, I think this is the last term of our current administration, we will spend 6.3% in 2022. I'm sure you are familiar about this thing called Build, wherein the government is encouraging private entities to invest in our own economy, in our own infrastructure. So over 6 years, the government is planning to spend $180 billion in terms of infrastructure. That started in 2016, I believe, hanggang 2022. So kung nawalan po tayo ng trabaho ngayon at balak natin mag-for good sa Pilipinas, kung may experience tayo sa infrastructure, then I'm sure medyo magiging maganda ang, let's say, ang opportunity natin doon at least. There are international companies na sa Pilipinas which are currently working here or currently established here, which they established their company in the Philippines. Actually, isa po kami doon, isa ang company namin that we are looking into Far East. We call it Far East, di ba, yung lugar natin, or Southeast Asia, to establish our company. Kasi nga, ang growth ng infrastructure, hindi lang naman Pilipinas. Vietnam, Malaysia, no, Malaysia is already established, but Vietnam, Indonesia, Pilipinas, yun po yung mga bansa na talagang nag-boost ng spending in terms of infrastructure. So as I said, build, PPP, yan po ang programa ng ating Pangulo or ng ating gobyerno ngayon. And we are lucky as civil engineers kasi in terms of infrastructure, malaki ang percentage ng civil engineers na nagtatrabaho. So yeah, there's a lot of job opportunities in terms of infrastructure. Now, ito po yung current spending natin na sinabi ko kanina. Since 2011 to 2016, 3% lang po ang spending ng gobyerno. But starting 2017 hanggang 2022, imagine sa 2022 na doble na or even more than our GDP ang investing natin or investment ng government sa infrastructure. And these are all according to IMF. Hindi ko po hinula to. Kinuha ko lang sa mga website natin or website ng mga international organization. They are doing all these further studies. So pinakita ko lang po. Another thing, this is the spending that we had from 2011 to 2017. So paangat na po at aangat pa yan ng todo. So which is good. Kasi kapag maganda ang infrastruktura ng isang bansa, maganda ang daloy ng ekonomiya, maraming investor na darating, at hopefully, or I am sure na malaking maitutulong nito sa bansa natin. Now, this is another figure or another photo na dinidescribe po ang infrastruktura ng ating bansa comparing to our neighboring countries. Now, that blue line inside, 1 is being the lowest, 7 being the highest. That blue line inside, this is the current infrastructure quality of our country. We are on railroad, we are even less than 3. On roads, we are 3. And overall infrastructure, we are 3. Electric supply, medyo mataas tayo, but telephone lines, doon tayo bagsak. Air transport and port, we are also 3. So I'm sure you have experienced this already. I don't have to even discuss it. Alam natin. Kasi nga, pag uwi natin ng Pilipinas, since we are here living in UAE, medyo na-spoil tayo sa quality of infrastructure dito. Pagdating natin sa Pilipinas, pagdaong pa lang sa airport, parang, alam mo yun, yung comfort, iba na. Then paglabas mo ng airport, yung traffic nandyan na. Then pagbukas mo ng cellphone mo, yung internet ang bagal. So hindi ko sinasabi na dito kasi syempre maganda yung infrastructure dito, but compared to our country, talagang napakabagal. And then compared to our neighboring countries, which is this red dashed line, these are India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and even Vietnam. Even Vietnam, imagine Vietnam just recently started boosting their economies. Pero talagang napakabilis ng improvement nila. So marami pa pong opportunity sa infrastructure. Hopefully the government will continue to support that, and even private companies will continue to support that. Now, these are some of the infrastructure projects that we have in the Philippines. I just want to highlight some projects, although you can easily, let me discuss only about economic spending. So in 2019, we are spending, or we spent 18.7 billion in terms of infrastructure. And then we're intending to spend 180 billion over the 6 years. And I'm sure it will continue. Dahil talagang we have a lot of backlog in terms of infrastructure, and then job opportunities. Of course, all these projects will turn into a job opportunities sa ating mga inhinyero, civil inhinyero. So marami pong opportunity tayo sa Pilipinas. And these are some of the projects that I'm talking about in terms of infrastructure. You can easily go through this website, government website po yan, ppp.gov.ph under NEDA. Ito po yung mga, let's say, high-valued infrastructure projects that we have. Sorry, medyo, okay. One of the project that I am really interested is yung Metro Manila Subway. This cost around 4.54 billion project. This is, I think it's being done by a Japanese consortium, and it is currently under engineering stage. Then we have, comparing to Dubai Metro, this is 4.54 billion. Dubai Metro, when they award it, it is around $4.2 billion. But when they completed it, it reaches around 7.8 billion. So I think a lot of you work in that project with Dubai Metro. So pagka-kompleto, napakalaki dahil because of variation or adjustment to the original scope. Hindi naman dahil, of course, there are some variation which in turns are unforeseen. Pero ito, 4.54 billion, ang Dubai Metro, 4.2 billion. So you can compare it, di ba? And you can assume kung ano magiging itsura niya. Then we have Bulacan International Airport. Ito po yung tinatawag nila na New Manila International Airport. This is staggering $14.7 billion. Imagine ang cost niya. So this is also awarded to the San Miguel Corporation Consortium, and I don't know if you're aware, awarded na po ang project na to sa contractor at consultant nila. If you're aware about Jacobs Engineering and Mainhart, sila po yung main, and I think sino pa ba yung isang, meron pang isang kasama partner na kasama sa joint venture. Sila kasi yung gumawa ng Singapore or ng Changi Singapore Airport. So they are implementing the same experience and same quality in this Bulacan International Airport. Just to have a comparison, I'm not sure if if you have or we have somebody in our panel, in the attendees na nagtatrabaho sa Abu Dhabi International Airport. The cost of that airport when it was awarded, it's 3.2 billion. 3.2 billion. But as of now, as far as I'm concerned, it is reaching around 6.8 billion already. But Bulacan International Airport is 14.7 billion. So imagine yung laki at saka yung lawak ng airport na to. Okay lang ba? Naririnig nyo or masyadong mabilis? Okay lang, Press? Okay lang.
Tingnan natin ang sagot ng ating chat. Okay lang ba sa inyo? Mabilis ba? Okay lang daw.
Okay lang. Good.
Okay lang daw.
Tanong po kayo para medyo maging interactive tayo. You can send your questions on that chat. Pwede ko rin sagutan later on. Either now or later on, it's up to us. Okay. So again, to continue my discussion regarding the infrastructure project in the Philippines, we still have other infrastructure. Sa norte yan, okay, Metro Manila Subway. We have a lot of railways currently undergoing construction and under design stage. We have the airports, a lot of airports actually. Isa lang tong airport na to na ginagawa. We have currently under construction yung Clark International Airport. That is 12 billion pesos expansion ng terminal lang. Ito kasi buong airport to. We have Mindanao Railway. I think this is under design stage or study stage. So yan, yung mga kababayan natin sa South, marami ring infrastructure project dyan. We have New Clark City. As I said, go there. Tignan nyo kung paano nila ginagawa. Unbelievable. We have highways and bridges. We have flood controls and dams. We have irrigations. We have ports. We have schools. Marami po. Maraming opportunity sa Pilipinas. Hindi lang tayo, of course, siguro yung salary expectation hindi ganun kataas compared dito. But there are projects, there are opportunities for us civil engineers. Now, okay. Yun po yung medyo overview natin sa infrastructure sa Pilipinas. Let's talk about infrastructure in the UAE. Now, of course, all of us are aware na talagang advanced ang infrastructure dito sa UAE, sa Dubai, sa Abu Dhabi. Sa Northern Emirates, medyo hindi pa ganon, but they are expanding now. They are improving. There's a lot of projects with the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, bandang Northern Emirates. Why they're investing in Northern Emirates? Dahil yung oil po ng Abu Dhabi, pinapipe nila papuntang Northern Emirates para maiwasan nila, papuntang Fujairah, para maiwasan nila yung Strait of Hormuz. So, since nagagamit nila yung area na yon, the government is spending also relative amount of money in terms of infrastructure doon sa area na yon. Okay. Let's talk about UAE infrastructure. So, the federal government, I'm just talking about federal government, is planning to spend 61 billion in 2020, and out of this 61 billion, 1/3 of this, which is around how much? 20 billion AED is related to infrastructure and economic resources. So, yung sa liit ng bansang to, pero yung infrastructure spending nila is napakalaki. Kaya advanced na advanced ang infrastructure dito. These are all taken from a website of a UAE government, so madaling ma-access, madaling makita. So the federal government is spending 5.57 billion. Federal government, meaning these are FEWA, Northern Emirates, hindi po kasama ang Dubai tsaka Abu Dhabi dito dahil they have their own budget and fundings. So this is 5.57 billion for infrastructure only. Then this is also the same. It's a breakdown of the infrastructure spending of the UAE federal government, which is 9.85 billion. Then in terms of UAE, in terms of infrastructure ranking, alam naman po natin, and we are experiencing it, na napakaganda ng infrastruktura dito sa bansang to. UAE is first in road quality index. Imagine, sa Pilipinas, ang takbo mo sa highway, ako pag nagdadrive, ang takbo ko 60 pa lang, pero feeling ko napakabilis ko na. Dito 120, hindi mo man maramdaman. Sa Pilipinas, pag tumakbo na ako ng medyo 80, I'm not talking about highway, but medyo like MacArthur Highway, yung takbo ko medyo di ba, struggle na, pero dito napakaganda. Airport, this is of course clear, obvious, but it is worth to tell na ang Pilipinas ay gumaganda na yung airport natin. Go to Mactan International Airport, you will have a different experience, and I'm looking forward into the new Clark International Airport na talagang hopefully, sabi nila, pang international ang quality. Let's see that. Then, fourth in seaport, yes, Kizad and Fujairah, Dubai, of course, Jebel Ali ports. Third in mobile phone subscription, because napaganda ng internet connection, napaganda ng telecommunication network. Fourth in general in terms of quality of infrastructure and so forth. Marami pong I don't think you will argue with me in terms of infrastructure dito sa UAE compared sa other countries.
Agree.
Di ba? Yeah, this is the budget of Dubai. They talk about 53.4 billion spending over 3 years, and then out of this $53 billion, ang infrastructure spending po nila ay 12%. So meaning 2.2 billion. Dubai lang po yun. I think ang Dubai, compare mo yung land mass niya at yung mga at yung population niya is napakaliit compare sa Pilipinas. Diba? So, but yung spending ng infrastructure nila, we're talking about the whole country. We spent how much? 15 billion for the whole country in 2019. This is only Dubai, $2.2 billion. So imagine yung gap. And then, luckily, we are here in the UAE. So napaka-solid po ng ekonomiya ng UAE. So maswerte tayo, nakakapagtrabaho pa po tayo dito. UAE is spending a lot of money in terms of infrastructure. So they are spending how much? Let me just... yeah, they're spending... they're planning to spend 33.4 billion by 2020. And ang UAE po isa sa mga bansa na may napakalaking sovereign wealth, meaning meron silang government money that they will spend in different time or in different type of businesses or investment or whatever. But at least they have the money, and we know na ang infrastructure po kasi hindi pwedeng mawala syempre. And then hindi lang naman i-construct mo, meron pa ring maintenance. Like for us as a company, dahil nakita namin noon na humihina yung or bumababa ang capital expenditure ng government in terms of infrastructure, so we shifted to OPEX, operation and maintenance. Now we are doing some rehabilitation of roads, pipelines, and networks. So tuloy-tuloy pa rin, although marami pa ring project, like for example, Gadan 21. I think you have seen this all over the place dito sa Abu Dhabi. This is the program of the government up to 2021. They're planning to spend 50 billion dirhams, all right, over a 3-year program, sa Abu Dhabi lang po. And out of this 50 billion, 8 billion is being reserved for public spaces. You know, alam niyo po yung project sa Jubail, yung mangrove, that is part of Gadan 21. They are opening nature sites, converting it into parks for people to have a quality life. Wait for a couple of months or years, they are also planning to build exactly the same concepts Al Rim. If you go to Al Rim, there's a mangrove in between, I think that's within Shams, Al Rim Shams. May mangrove po doon, lalagyan din po nila ng access yon. We are bidding for these projects. I think it's, hopefully it will be awarded. But of course, I think currently yung situation medyo na-shift ang economic spending ng UAE, but I'm sure this will happen in the near future. And marami pa pong iba. Housing. Out of this Gadan 21, out of that 50 billion, 11.6 billion is being given to locals or Emirati for housing loan. Now, bago magpagawa ng bahay ang mga Emirati, of course, they have to build communities. One of our main projects here in the UAE as KN International is to have or to isa sa mga or marami sa mga projects namin are related to Emirati housing, infrastructure development, mainly in the western region. The government is planning to provide every Emirati or every local housing. And then they are taking from the bank and then building their own house, but the government will construct the infrastructure. Yeah, and another program ng government ngayon is yung PPP. Actually, matagal na po sa UAE ang PPP na ginagawa, kamukha na ginagawa natin sa Pilipinas. They are integrating private entities here. Kahit na may pera po ang UAE, but they are wise enough, clever enough to invite private companies to invest in infrastructure. One of the recently awarded project is yung LED lighting, PPP projects with Tatwir. If you know this company, actually they are a consultant, but they also have an investment arm na Sila po yung nakakuha ng PPP project na to. It's a 12-year contract regarding 43,000 street lighting all over Abu Dhabi. There are other PPP projects related to treatment plants. If you know Karafi National, they are the one who constructed the treatment plant in, I think in Watpa, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a PPP project. So sa Northern Emirates, utilities, if you know UTICO, this is under Gantut Group, I think. They are also having PPP projects there, and a lot more. There are, anong tawag dito, yung power plants, all right? Another interesting infrastructure project ng UAE is yung nuclear plant. I think some of you are working in that project. What I know is na commission na yon, and I think it's in a starting procedure. Okay. Now, these are the possible clients or employer in terms of infrastructure projects sa UAE. I did not include, no, actually I included some of the entities in the Northern Emirates, but we have Dubai Municipality. Dubai Municipality, what I know, they are in charge of parks, sewerage system, drainage system, and irrigation in Dubai. Then you have RTA. They are involved, or they are the one in charge in terms of roads, bridges in Dubai. When I was working in Dubai, one of our clients are these two entities. We have DIWA, also DIWA, one of our clients. They're in charge of electric and water, of course. And there's a lot of projects in DIWA, by the way, just for information. We have MOID, Ministry of Infrastructure Development. They are in charge of the infrastructure development in the Northern Emirates, mainly Fujairah, Al Quwain, Ras Al Khaimah, Sharjah, I believe also. We have several projects with MOID back in 2018, I think. And FIWA, and a lot more. ADM, of course, dito sa Abu Dhabi, ADM is in charge of parks. They are also in charge of local internal roads. Actually, even now they are also in charge of highways. And Al Ain Municipality, Al Dhafra Municipality, a lot of projects are happening in Al Dhafra now, in the Western region. A lot of development. We have upcoming 5 projects there that will be under construction. So, yep. And Musanada. Musanada, mainly they are the project manager, all right, of all these entities, of the government entities like Abu Dhabi Municipality, Al Ain and Al Dhafra. They hired Musanada to run their projects, because Musanada is well known to have a systematic approach in running a project, very cost effective, value engineered project. And hindi lang sila, even ADEC, schools, government entities like GHQ, like fire station, police station are being managed, managed by Musanada nowadays. And we have DOE, they call it DOE now, Department of Energy, ADDC, Transco, and ADSSC, Abu Dhabi Ports, and so forth. Marami pong entities na involved sa infrastructure. I'm sure you're aware about that. And there are opportunities with them. Okay. Good. Now let's talk about an actual project, a case study that I was involved with. I am the project manager for this project in Shamka, if you're aware about the area. This is in Abu Dhabi, and it's a pre-construct stage, meaning design stage up to award of project to the contractor. Supervision did not yet start, but I think hopefully soon it will start. So let's talk about the facts. Okay. Shamka, this project is The client is Abu Dhabi Municipality, meaning they are the end user. In terms of infrastructure po, the main thing for that work is stakeholders. Napakaraming involved. Hindi kamukha ng isang building, yung client lang ang involved, and of course, obtaining building permit. But infrastructure, all those entities that I mentioned here in Abu Dhabi, Al Ain, Al Dhafra, they are involved. Because you have to get approval of your design and even of your works during construction from these entities or from these stakeholders. So Shamka, just some facts and figures. Our client in this project is Abu Dhabi Municipality. Our employer, meaning kung kanino namin sinign ang contract, is with Musanada. We are the consultant. KN International Architects. The contractor has not yet been awarded. And the project cost is around 440 million AED. Actually, ang budget po ng gobyerno dyan, nung inaward or nung tinender ang project in terms of design is 170 lang. They miscalculated it. So nung dinesign na namin, umabot ng 440 million. So what we did, we proposed to build it into phases. Construction duration was or is 24 months. Hopefully, matapos within 24 months, but I really doubt. And the start of design was in 2017. So ito po yung scope of the project. It consists of 1,400 plots, Emirati housing. Actually, it's an existing site. If you go to Shamka, you can see a lot of villas constructed. So what they are doing normally is they construct infrastructure in phases. Kapag, let's say, 80% occupied na, then they construct the full infrastructure, meaning they construct the landscape, they construct some of the utilities, not the essential utilities, but let's call it road utilities, like street lighting, stormwater. But the necessities, the plant utilities, they call it, like water, sewerage, and telecom, they already constructed it long time ago, 10 years ago. So our scope for this project is related to, let's call it upgrade. We call it stage 2, but it's an upgrade of an existing infrastructure for 1,400 plots. The area is around 910 hectares, and the total length of roads is around 120 kilometers. The scope is upgrading of existing road, solid waste collection point. We have constructed or proposed a solid waste collection point, street lighting, stormwater network, subsoil drainage, telecommunication ducts only, protection or relocation, power network, electrical, water, and firefighting, sewerage, irrigation, streetscape, meaning landscape within the road. I think you have noticed na napakarami ng landscape na ginagawa ang government ngayon. And MCC. What is MCC? Monitoring and control. Ito po yung mga camera natin na nakikita sa daan. They call it Falcon Eye. So this is the scope of the project. So when we were awarded about this project, so ako yung na-assign na project manager. Actually, ako yung gumawa ng bid. So ako yung gumawa ng proposal sa company. Ako yung gumawa ng pricing. So nakuha namin. So sabi ko sa company, let me run it because it's our first project with Musanada during that time. Gusto ko maging maayos yung pag-deliver ng project. So the first thing that I have done, and I think if you're a project manager, you know this, is the project management plan. Once you have done this, madali na. Once you have done it for the first time, sa susunod, halos pare-parehas na lang. You can just modify yung content niya, of course, in terms of the scope of work. Now, what is the content of a project management plan in terms of an infrastructure project? It's the same. If you're familiar with PMI or if you're a registered or a professional project manager, sabi nila, yung PMI guidelines or book of knowledge, libro lang. But actually, hindi po. Marami tayong matututunan doon na may implement natin sa actual projects. So what is the content of my PMP is the scope management. In terms of infrastructure, napaka-broad po ng scope. Kaya you have to be careful on limiting your scope. Otherwise, hindi ka matatapos, maging over budget, overrun, at malulugi po yung project nyo. We have budget, expenditure. You have to monitor this one, the expenditure of the company. So for us, we are consultant. Our expenditure is mainly sa resources, sa tao. So kapag ang tao masyado nang tumatagal sa project, because we are not contractor, we don't buy materials, we don't have equipments, so we have only people. All right. So kapag ang tao mo or ang staff na nagtatrabaho tumatagal na sa project, which is lumalagpas dun sa original proposal mo, of course nalulugi ka na. So you have to watch that. Staffing, as I said, internal and external. So you have to select which are the staff that will be involved for the project and which are your sub-consultant. During design stage or pre-contract stage, as a company, KN, we hire external, subcontractor like a surveyor, geotechnical engineer, or geotechnical investigation company, because we don't have drilling. We have survey equipment, but we don't have resources. So I propose to hire sub-consultant to do that for this project para mas makakatipid. And then traffic impact study, TIS, environmental impact study, although those are not needed. On other projects, we need them, so we hire sub-consultant to do that. Stakeholder coordination, you should be aware kung sino ang mga authorities na involved sa project. Since this is a public project with ADM, most of the stakeholder or authorities, or we call it entities, are involved. You have to get approval from Abu Dhabi municipality. You have to get approval from ADSSC, from Etisalat, from ADDC, all these entities. So one of the main key point para makapag-deliver ka ng proper infrastructure project is dapat magaling yung stakeholder coordinator mo. We will discuss later on kung ano yung mga staff normally na hina-hire or in-employ namin for this particular project. Schedule management, of course, Musanada is very strict in terms of schedule. You have to be protected, you have to be supported, kaya dapat documented. As a project manager, ako lahat ng email ko naka-save. As in and out na email ko, hindi ko dinidelete, sinesave ko, fina-file ko kasi later on, they will blame you for delays, and I make sure na documented. Meron akong reason bakit ako delay. So kapag nag-claim ako ng variation or time extension, then valid lahat ng, or available lahat ng information. Then we have quality controls and assurance, of course. Ako kasi nag-umpisa ako sa technical, so I am fully aware about the design requirements, so I can also do the quality control. But what I did in this project, I assigned an independent person from our company, which she's or he is not involved in the project, so palaging third-party review ang ginagawa namin. And then kailangan din kasi yon kapag nagpa-certificate ka sa ISO, di ba? So hinihingi nila yung mga documentation na yan. Then cost management, of course. One of the, sabi ko nga kanina, di ba, ang budget ng project is 440 million when we completed the design. But the original budget of the project is around 170 million only. So we did some value engineering, which I will explain later on. We did some value engineering and we proposed some project staging. So we did it into phases, phase 1, phase 2. And then the client will decide, because here The budget is in this government, in Musanada, the budget is being approved by Executive Council. So kapag above budget by 10%, then there will be a lot of discussion. But if your project's within budget, madali ang approval kasi na-reserve na siya. So cost management, that's why you should have a very good QS for the project to estimate the budget, the construction budget. And close out. This is a normal failure or mistake of a project manager. They don't close project. They just complete it, and then when everything is okay, they think it's done, class. Let's move to another one. No, you have to close the project. You should submit a proper closeout report, because if you did not close it, at some point, like we have some projects because it was not properly closed, 10 years na hanggang ngayon, yung client binabalikan pa kami for some clarification or RFIs, which is supposed to be not our responsibility. But because we did not close it properly, we did not provide all the documents, we did not inform the client, then we are still contracted to do it. So closeout report is very important. This is the organization chart of the project. So if you notice, ilan ba yung staff dito? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 14 engineers and a lot of dropsman. I did not include the dropsman. Then I have sub-consultant. Now, out of these 14 engineers, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 8 civil engineers. Out of 14, walo ang civil engineers. So, meaning for infrastructure project, we as civil engineers have a lot of interest or a lot of opportunities. Marami po dito civil engineers. Ang project manager, ako yon, civil engineer. Actually, yung project coordinator, si Roman, civil engineer siya, Roman Konenarov, civil engineer, but I believe I changed him during the course of the project. I prefer to have an Arabic speaking because they always go to authorities to discuss, to talk, to arrange meeting, to clarify. The lead infra engineer, the design manager, I think he's a mechanical engineer, but during the course of the project also I changed him into a civil engineer. Then we have dry utilities. Dry utility, what are dry utilities? Dry utilities are related to electrical, to telecommunication, to street lighting. Those are dry utilities, we call it. And that person should be an electrical or electronics engineer. Wet utilities, what are wet utilities? Wet utilities are sewerage, stormwater, irrigation, potable water. Yeah, so those engineers are civil engineers. Most of them are civil engineers. Then we have public realm. Actually, we also have one entity here, which is road. So linagay ko na lang siya sa public realm. So public realm is related to roads, and actually it's related to landscape, but I just include road on it. Landscape, of course, our landscape is an architect. She's a landscape architect, but the road engineer is another civil engineer. And we even have several engineers na hindi ko na linagay, but they are all civil engineers. The structural, of course, is a civil engineer. Our QA/QC is a civil engineer. Our planning engineer is a civil engineer. Our QS is a civil engineer. Lahat, halos 80% ng project sa infrastructure, civil engineers. So, kaya napakagandang oportunidad po sa mga
Pilipino pa, no, sir?
And most of them are Filipino. Proud to say, our company, we hire a lot of Filipinos. Alam naman po natin ang kapasidad ng mga Pilipino, di ba? I think you agree with me on that. In that regards,
yeah. Pangalan pa lang mga Pilipino na babasa ko.
Pangalan pa lang Pilipino na. Although I changed some of the stuff here, sabi ko nga yung coordinator, I'd rather have, we hired Arabic speaking coordinator, so it will be easy. And ang strategy po namin doon sa coordinator, ang ina-hire namin babae. Kasi ang babae, kapag pumunta sa authorities, they respect them more than men, di ba? So medyo mahihiya yung approving authorities, let's say it like that. With Musanada, all staff will be interviewed, especially kapag bago ang company. Like when we got this project, it's our first project with Musanada, so all the staff were interviewed. I remember I was interviewed. I'll show you the requirements of the staff. Ito po yung requirement ng mga staff with Musanada. This is an extract from our contract with Musanada. So we have project manager, design manager, senior engineers, years of experience in the firm. Of course, hindi mo naman, I mean, we cannot obtain or we cannot have all this experience. At the end, it depends on your interview, actual interview with Musanada. What I remember when I was interviewed, it's a panel interview, so 4 na project managers from Musanada ang nag-interview sa akin. So thanks God, naging okay naman ang interview because maybe because I work a lot already with infrastructure and I'm familiar exactly with the authority requirement. Ang pinakatanong nila, how can you get all the approvals in a very short time, on an expedited manner? All right. The good thing with infrastructure, all the designs, all the standards are available because it's public. It's government projects, government entities. So you have all the available design guidelines, specifications, and standards. All right. The design manager, I remember when we sent him for interview, he was rejected. So what I did, I hired one of their people. I hired the utility engineer from Musanada. So automatic approved. It's just a matter of sometimes you have, kasi, no, really, you have to be clever on your approach in terms of stuff. We have road engineers, landscape. The rest, when we hired that guy and when I got approved and we hired that guy, everything went smooth. Naging madali na ang lahat. So yeah, these are the staff requirement of Musanada. If you want to enter Musanada, the good thing with Musanada, once you enter and you perform well, you will be recommended. Hindi ka na mauubusan ng project. Even if I will be terminated, I can easily get a job because I can talk to Musanada, then they will recommend me to a lot of consultants. Yeah, ito po yung mga stakeholder management. For this project, these are the stakeholders that we approach in terms of stakeholder coordination. Wait a minute. So we approach Musanada. Of course, you have to get approval from Musanada. You have to get approval from Abu Dhabi Municipality as the end user, from UPC, Urban Planning Council. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I think you have met these people before. You have to get approval for the road cross section and corridors, utility corridor from UPC. EAD, Abu Dhabi Environmental Agency, you have to get approval from them. ADDC, Abu Dhabi Distribution Company. Sorry kung may mga taga Dubai na hindi ka anong familiar. Apparently yung case study ko is Abu Dhabi project.
Okay, sir. Hindi mo naman mako-cover talaga lahat. It's okay, sir. It's okay.
May tanong si sir dito, where we can buy latest standard for material testing with hard copies. I believe, sir, yung sa Abu Dhabi kasi, we have this ADQCC nowadays, if you're familiar with that. Parang ginagawang mininsan or inisahan ng mga standard guidelines ng authority. So I think you can have that. It's online. Actually, the company, if your company is registered, you can download all the guidelines. Meron kami, medyo malaki nga lang. I think it's 16 GB. So, yun. Okay, then we obtained approval from ADSSC for the sewerage, DOT for the traffic impact study or transportation infrastructure master plan, Tadwir for the solid waste management, Onwani, this is the entity under ADM who's responsible for designing signage, street signage. Diba, napansin nyo, if you notice, the signage in Abu Dhabi now are standardized. Pare-parehas na. So those are under the supervision or under the supervision of Onwani. MCC, these are, as I said before, Falcon Eye or yung mga CCTV natin. Hindi yung traffic na camera. These are the safety camera, yung mga matataas. These are under MCC. Then civil defense, of course, you have to get approval. GHQ, you have to get approval from them because GHQ, they have a lot of fiber optic cable in terms of security. This is even very important. Hindi mo kailangan tamaan ang cable ng GHQ, otherwise you will pay fine. Kapag nag-excavate ka or naglo-locate ka. And they don't even give you a soft copy of their asset. You have to go there, they will draw it by hand. Kasi nga, safety siya.
May tanong.
Si Mr. Idos.
Sir Idos, yeah.
Is it possible for you to share those files that you have at your disposal? Medyo ano yan, sir, medyo mahirap, but tignan natin kung ano magagawa natin. I think those are public naman. If you have a company, they can download it. Maybe I can share you kung paano ida-download ng company ninyo. I can do that.
Okay.
And then we have ADNOC. Of course, lahat ng pipeline ng Abu Dhabi kailangan may approve or lahat ng project may approval pa rin ng ADNOC because anything closer to ADNOC assets is already questionable. Okay.
Sereno, may I interrupt?
Yes, sir.
Actually, ang una sana makakakuha ng prize today is Sir Henry Sanchez, but he was a BOD. So, Engineer Paquito Idos will get a jacket. The IC jacket. So he is the first winner for today.
Congrats, Engineer Idos.
Okay, congrats po. I-send ko na lang po sa inyo yung itsura ng jacket nyo. Mamaya. Sige sir, proceed sir.
Okay. So let's discuss about the project stages. Normally, so we have, these are the project stages of our project, of this particular project. Normally, a project of a development, like yun nga, 140 Emirati housing, starts with master plan, if required. In this project, we did not do the master plan because it's already constructed. It was done 10 years ago. But if you will build or if you will develop a project from the beginning, you need the master plan. So master plan is another thing to be discussed. Hindi ko na po i-discuss dito dahil iba naman yun. Those are for urban planners, those are for urban planners, transportation planners, a lot. Ibang discipline to. I think for master plan, there are still some engineers, urban planners, utilities, yes. But it's very like high level concept design. We started our project with data collection or inception. What do you mean by data collection? We will discuss it later on. And after inception stage or data collection stage, we have concept design. Then the next stage is preliminary schematic design. Then we have detailed or final design. Then we have tender documents preparation. And then we have tendering and award. And supervision or construction stage. Okay, let's not talk about master plan. That's because that's not part of this project. Let's talk about inception or data collection stage. What are the things that we have to do during inception stage? First thing that you have to do is you have to identify all the stakeholders. Same thing that like what I did. Itong mga sinabi, let me show you back. Yeah, this stakeholders, you should identify them from the beginning. You should know that ano yung mga kailangan mong approval at anong authorities. Hindi mo kailangan i-approach lahat kasi hindi matatapos ang project mo. You will waste a lot of time na hindi naman necessary. You should know from the beginning what are the entities that you need based on the scope of work. So for our project, we need these entities, but mainly we only need ADM for the design approval. We only need them for NOC, design clearance, but we need them we need the design approved from ADM, from UPC, from DOT, and from Tadwir, mainly. The rest are all clearances only. So you have to identify that. As I said, one of the main let's say the main thing or the main driving force to complete a project is you should have an experience and a good coordinator, stakeholder coordinator. Because
There's one question again.
Yes, sir. Are
Are you using? Yeah. Sige sir, ikaw na.
Are you using cathodic protection system in your project? If yes, do you have some guidelines on its implementation? Apparently, sir, hindi kami gumamit ng cathodic protection because we don't have DI pipes in our project. Cathodic protection are for DI, I believe. We have used cathodic protection on one of our military projects because we have a gas network there that is DI, I believe. So, and we have a gas tank, which is also a steel tank. So we use cathodic. I don't know if we have the guidelines. I can check that. After this, maybe you can send me an email. I can give you that. And then we have existing information. You have to get the as-built. You have to get the existing condition. You have to do surveys from authorities. What we did, because of our experience in the market and of course marami ng connection, importante po ang maraming kakilala. Like itong mga seminar na to, try to reach or try to expand your anong tawag dito? Your network, dahil makakakuha kayo ng mga magagandang information sa kanila. Like for example, what I did in this project, I know a person working in a company who have the as-built of the project. So he introduced me to the project manager and I got the as-built from that person. Of course, you have to send official letter to get it. Then you have to prepare the design criteria. All these design criteria are available from every design guidelines of infrastructure. It's up to you how you will interpret it and how you will put it in your project, or how to implement it in your project and how to put it in your report. Okay, then the next stage is concept stage or concept design stage. These are the things that we did during concept design stage. One of the main important currently for authorities or for government projects is to prepare optioneering. What is optioneering? Meaning options, several options of design. Which one is cheaper in terms of capital expenditure and in terms of operational expenditure, CAPEX and OPEX. Palagi po yan. And then you have to calculate it for a life cycle of 25 years. So, yung pong mga ginagawa nating mga project dito, kinoconstruct natin, hindi po sila basta-basta kinoconstruct, pinag-aaralan at bina-value yung project kung feasible ba siya or hindi. Is it within the budget of the client or the government or hindi? So that's one of the important thing during concept design. Then you have to start, or you have to calculate load demand. You have to obtain load demand in terms of potable water load, let's say as an example, or sewerage discharge, electrical load. Yung pong kinakalculate po natin yan, so we can establish the demand. Then after that, you have to get the tie-in connection from existing utilities. It's not like you always have to get this approval from authorities, because sometimes yung the external network are overloaded. Sometimes you have to connect it far away. Then nagtataka ka, why do I have to connect it far away? Because maybe the existing utilities along the project is not sufficient. Then cross-section approval, you have to obtain the cross-section, the road cross-section, including utility corridor from UPC, as I've said previously. Then you have to initiate studies. You have to do traffic study for this project. What we did is traffic transportation infrastructure study, or plan, TIP. Then you have to do topographic survey. We hired a surveyor for this project to do the topographic survey. You have to do the geotechnical study and geophysical study for the project. So these are sub-consultant. So again, you should be aware of those sub-consultant. Minsan, of course, may magaling. Minsan may hindi approachable. Minsan may mabagal mag-respond. So based on our experience, we have all those people already ready, and yung mga trustworthy lang yung ina-hire namin. May tanong kay Sir Chapuela, is this a design and build project? No, sir. This is a conventional design build project. Hindi po siya design and build.
Well, sir, tumayo ako. Meron pa siyang dalawang kasamang tanong dito. Sir, do you have a flow chart? Nakalagay doon. Okay.
Ano yun, sir?
From
Do you
Brian.
have the process flow chart starting from design to awarding of contract specific for project is process flow?
Process flow chart. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Actually, meron akong process flow chart. Hindi ko na lang linagay lahat dito kasi
Okay.
napakarami. But we have process flow chart, of course.
And then how you qualify and get approval as PM in a government project in the UAE if you are not Arabic PM?
It doesn't necessary, sir, that you have to speak Arabic to become PM. Don't limit ourselves to this. Otherwise, you won't be a PM, di ba? So it's not necessary. Actually, based on my experience, I was a project manager with ADSSC. I'm a project manager with ADDC with some of our projects. I'm a project manager with Musanada. So it's not about Arabic speaking. That's why I mentioned I selected a stakeholder coordinator as an Arabic speaking. Siya yung translator ko.
Yes.
Yes, sir. That's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we as Filipino, we don't have to limit ourselves. We can be project managers. We can even be better than them, right? Okay. As I proceed, so then of course, once you have done all these steps, you have to get approval from authorities for the concept design. Every stages po ng project, you have to get an approval for your design because you have to submit to authorities, you have to get their approval. And one of the most important thing during concept design is high-level cost estimate. So you should have a good QS who knows the market current situation. Kasi po, tumataas, bumababa ang presyo ng construction materials, ng labor, ng machineries. So within concept design, pwede pa po yung plus minus 20% difference. But habang nag-proceed po yung project, dapat yung gap na yan lumiliit kasi nagiging detailed yung design. Alright, so this is concept design. The next stage, so after you get the approval, next stage is the preliminary design or schematic design stage. During this stage, of course, you have to, tignan ko lang kung nakailang oras na ba ako. Naka-board na kayo, sir.
Isang oras pa, mababa pa. Sige, kaya yan.
Kaya pa. Oh. Okay, the next stage is preliminary design. So in this stage, yung design po natin is medyo advanced na, and we have design calculation. So of course, you have to do the preliminary design report, and then you have to do design calculation. In terms of pipelines, you should do the hydraulic modeling. In terms of electrical, normally you should have the cable sizing or transformer sizing, voltage drop. This one, sir, design hydraulic modeling, design of potable water, design of sewerage. This is a huge topic that even we can have it as a separate discussion or seminar if kailangan nyo. Pero kung
Alin
hindi-
sir? Ang alin? Yung magiging separate natin?
Yung design, sir, this design of infrastructure, particular design, because I'm just talking about
The
high
management design, yeah.
management lang. But if you
Yeah.
want to design a network, hydraulic design, how to size it, what are the materials you have to use, how to do, where to put all these chambers and all these things, that's another topic that we have
We
to
can
discuss.
reach on that, sir. Sigurado, sir.
We can do that later on,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
All right?
Sir, meron tayong iba pang tanong dito.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir. Sir, if damage happens on stakeholder or authorities' existing services, do the stakeholders have fines and guidelines? Do they penalize with black points? Do we have prevention guidelines in order to prevent these damages on existing services?
Yes, sir. First of all, for sure, 100% there are damages. We have experience in College Al Arabi. During construction stage, meron pong 1.6 diameter of pipeline that has been damaged by when they started excavating or when they do piling, I believe, all right? That was damaged. Then there was a fine from the contractor. How can you avoid this? You have to, of course, conduct survey. First of all, you have to get the survey, the existing condition, the existing utilities on that area. Then you have to get to do trial trenches to expose the utilities, all right? And then you have to get permit to work. Don't just construct, don't just connect. Kaya nga po, we have NOC, clearance NOC. All authorities will give you clearance before you start construction. If you don't have that, then definitely you will get fined. But if you have that, but still you touch or you damage or whatever, we have fine. Like for example, yung ADM, before you do road crossing, let's say for example, road crossing, you even have to provide bank guarantee to do that. Kasi kapag yung reinstatement work mo is hindi maayos ang pagkakagawa, they will take your bond. So in terms of infrastructure, public infrastructure, very strict po ang government. So you have to be careful on that.
And then may follow-up, sir. May follow-up. During the project planning stage, was there any study conducted about sustainability and future sustainable development in the area ever considered?
Okay. For a development project, I think you're all aware about STDAMA. For development project, during detailed or during master plan stage, they apply community development depending on the number of population. All right. For our project, in terms of infrastructure, there's no specific, or let's say there's no
sustainability.
No, we are implementing sustainable design, but you don't have to get credits for that. All right, not like you don't have to get Pearl 1 or Pearl 2. You have to get that Pearl 1 or Pearl 2 STDAMA rating during master plan stage. But for infrastructure, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't implemented that. But our design is sustainable because we use the guidelines to be sustainable. I mean, may mga guidelines naman, sir, na in terms of sustainability, like for example, road. We are mandated to use recycled aggregates or recycled asphalt. That is sustainable, but I don't get credit for that. Okay.
Last, sir. Last follow-up. To what level of details is your BIM modeling design? If your design platform is based on BIM?
We will go to that later on, sir.
Okay. Proceed, sir. Proceed.
Saan na ba tayo? Road geometry. Okay, another thing. Before I became project manager sa Dubai, my experience is mainly road. So I have used Civil 3D in designing roads. So if we want to have another seminar for that, we can do that. Road design is related to vertical and horizontal alignment.
Marami yan. Okay yan, sir. Sigurado, sir, yan natin yan. Schedule natin.
Thank you, sir. Road pavement structure. How do you calculate pavement structure? How do you calculate the thickness of an asphalt, of the base course, of the sub-base course? These are all determined by a certain criteria, which we will discuss maybe in the future, not in this, otherwise hindi tayo matatapos. Then we have the utility buildings. What are utility buildings? We call substation, pumping station, or stormwater pond. These are utility buildings that normally are included in a development project. And studies, we have to complete the studies during this stage. As much as possible, we have to complete the study. We have to complete the traffic study. We have to complete the topographic survey, geotechnical study, geophysical study. Depending on your project, sir, stages of the project, let's say, for example, I remember the total design duration for my project is 270 days. 270 days, so that's how many months? 7 months. 7 months, yeah. So concept design normally is 45 days or 30 days. Preliminary design is normally longer, 45 days, I believe. And then detailed design, 30 days, something like that, or 60. All right, then again, after you completed all the design and you implemented the comments during concept design, you have to submit again your designs. You have to submit your road to ADM. You have to submit your water design to ADDC. You have to submit your sewerage design to ADSSC, and you have to get approval. And then during this time, your preliminary cost estimate should be within 15% range, plus or minus. So dahil detailed na yung design mo, then you can estimate it further accurately, right? Good. Then after the stage, after you obtain all the approvals, you will proceed with the final or detailed design stage. So in this design, you should complete the calculation. You should size your pipelines. You should calculate the thickness of your road. You should design the geometric design, the alignment, the profile, and then you should have provided standard or typical details. Also, ito po yung tanong ni Sir kanina, at this stage, you started creating your BIM, your BIM modeling. Previously, BIM is not being implemented in infrastructure project. It is only implemented in buildings. And recently, we have several projects that we started implementing BIM. Level of BIM for infrastructure with Musanada is level 300, all right? But in Dubai, I believe they are more advanced. I think in Dubai, they've been implementing BIM for such a long time. But here, sooner or later, Musanada started implementing BIM. I'm sure Abu Dhabi municipality will implement it. ADSSC started asking for it, and ADDC will ask it in the future. So BIM will be mandatory in the future to get approval. Mainly, as of now, ginagamit po nila ang BIM for clash analysis only. I think people or some of the engineers here that are working in infrastructure, main concern nila is clashes during construction.
Yes.
Right? So through BIM, may iwasan na po to, may iwasan ng variation, may iwasan ng extension of time, at mapapadali ang buhay ng mga contractor at consultant during supervision or construction stage. So yun po. Then you should have the final design of the building. For every building, iba naman ang requirement dito. For every, even small building like substation and sewer or pumping station, you need building permit. So you have to get it through MEPS, MEPS. I think you're aware about that. There is another type of procedure, another process to get the approval or to get the building permit approval. And then of course, after you implemented all the comments from preliminary design and you get approval from the preliminary design, sometimes you obtain approved with comments kasi during preliminary design. So you incorporate that during detailed design. And of course, you have to get approval again. It's repeated approval. Kaya nga, the stakeholder coordinator is very important for an infrastructure project. I can say one of the success is success to expedite or the stakeholder coordinator is not a technical, he's a technical guy, an engineer, but he's not detail oriented in terms of hydraulic calculation or geometric design. he's very just familiar with who's the right person to contact to. Because if you are not approaching the right person with the authorities, then your project will be on a very long, on a queue even, like hindi pa prioritized. That's why that is very important. Then during this stage, you start to produce the draft specification. Although infrastructure, they have their own standard specification from the government, but sometimes we provide particular specification depending on the project. Then by this stage, you have to start preparing your BOQ. Kanina po, yung pinaprepare natin is mga cost estimate lang, hindi siya detailed. All right. Now, BOQ, as per Musanada, they need SISM, based on SISM. I think maraming mga QS dito who's aware about that. So, SISM po ang ginagamit ng Musanada. But some authorities, they have their own method of measurement, like ADSSC, they have their own method of measurement. ADDC, also, they have. Etisalat, I don't think so. They just follow the method of measurement of Musanada. Then, when you obtain your approval during detailed design, you have to prepare the tender documents. Tender documents normally consist of ITT or instruction to tenderers. This is by Musanada. We did not prepare this one. We just Musanada have their own standard. You have the contract also. It's a Musanada standard. So what we prepared is the tender drawings. So these are the final detailed drawings, specification, particular and standard specification, bill of quantities, and others like the approvals, copy of the approvals, copy of the soil investigation, copy of the topographic survey, and copy of all the NOCs. Yun po ang kailangan natin sa tender documents. Then of course you have to get approval again. After you approve, then the client will float it for tender. So, what type of, may tanong po dito, what type of waterproofing system you are using for the project? What do you mean by waterproofing, sir? For the
type of waterproofing, I guess, lahat naman ng ano meron na prior to cost. Meron mo kasi mga ano na kailangan ng waterproofing.
Yeah. Okay.
Like footings, di ba?
Correct. Footings, chambers, lahat ng substructure, no? Correct. Yeah. Standard naman po yan, sir. Ang mga waterproofing natin, I think it's standard. We have that details. Hindi ko lang alam eksakto or familiar kung paano yung layers niya. Okay, then we have, after tender documents are approved, we have tendering and award. During this stage, na-float na po yung tender with the bidders. And then we, as a consultant, responds to the queries of the bidders within 5 days, as per contract, normally. Then we issue addendums. And then, as a consultant, we conduct technical and commercial evaluation. But for this project, Musanada procurement department are the one who did the technical and commercial evaluation. Actually, for Musanada, we don't have to do this anymore. So this is out. Then award to the bidder. Once the bidder or the winning awarded bidder is identified, we have to prepare the contract documents. What are the contract documents? Yun po yung mga tender. Ito po yung mga contract documents. Yan mismo. And all the addendums that are issued during tendering stage. So we have to print it, several copies, but I think nowadays it's all soft copies, which is good, sustainable. And then after that, close out. So sa design stage or sa pre-contract stage, I have prepared a closeout document for this project. As I said, it's very important. I need to close this stage so I can move to the next stage of the project of the contract, which is the supervision stage. So I prepared closeout. What is closeout? Closeout, I attach all the approvals, all my letters, correspondences, all approvals, and then I put CD on all the submission of concept, preliminary, detailed, tender documents, and contract. I did not print them. I put them all in one CD, write a letter that my project is closed. If you have, we require you to keep safe this document, and if you need some further clarification or comments regarding this project, are all mentioned or included in this CD. So the project is closed, and we are signing off on this project. Then we move again to another stage or level ng contract, which is construction supervision stage. Now, construction stage, hindi pa namin in this project, that's another thing. We will not discuss that. Otherwise, hindi na tayo matatapos dahil napakalaking trabaho po ng construction stage at marami rin procedure doon. So, hold on for a second. Good. Yan. So, yun po, tapos na yung project. Ganun namin natapos yung project. What I remember, this project put us on the map with Musanada. We were shortlisted on other projects, and then during, I think, a span of since 2017 hanggang 2019, we got 5 projects from them shortlisted, which are, I think, all complete also, expected to be constructed soon. So, why we are talking about infrastructure? Is there really a job opportunity on infrastructure projects? Yes, of course we have. As I said kanina, on my organization chart, I have 80% civil engineers on that project. That is design stage. How about Mr. Hero, Engineer Hero? How about supervision? Do we have opportunity? Of course we have. We have a lot, actually. We have a lot of opportunities for supervision. I will show you an extract of the, okay, how about salary package maybe? Somebody will ask, I mean, is it really worth moving or shifting my career to infrastructure, or is it really...
Yan ang magandang tanong.
Diba? Wag na lang
Magandang tanong yan.
Baka sabihin mo, sir, ang infrastructure, okay, marami nga civil engineers, so marami ng kakompetensya, wag na. Stay na lang ako sa ano ko, diba?
Yung ano sir, halimbawa, 5 to 10 years experience.
We have 5-10 years experience, honestly, for a design engineer, hindi senior. Oh, yeah, it's possible. We have engineers in our office with yes,
Package.
3-4 years experience. Depends sa required position, of course. Now, let me talk about supervision staff.
Okay.
Supervision, salary package. Ano ba, sir? Ano ba yung mga salary package ng supervision? I have an extract, although hindi ko na ipapakita yung salary package. Baka mahirap na. We can just discuss it maybe if you agree. If you're okay with me or not, okay lang then. But these are the requirements of a supervision, infrastructure supervision. This is an extract from our actual contract. Just for your information, fellow engineers, Musanada applied or started applying minimum salary takeaway, meaning if you are working with the Musanada project under a consultant for a supervision project, you should get a minimum salary. You should not get lower than that. You should get higher or minimum, because they are regulating the salaries dahil nga minsan ang quality ng mga staff na naka-hire hindi maganda, so because they are dumping the prices, they are dumping the salaries, so medyo hindi maganda. But for an infrastructure project, these are the standard. It doesn't mean na lahat ito i-hire. These are standard stuff with the standard years of experience. Sorry, with the standard years of experience and minimum qualification. And most of this, believe it or not, most of these positions are civil engineers, either bachelor or diploma. Kasi di ba sa ibang lahi may diploma, yung mga inspector nila at saka surveyor, mainly diploma sila, but for us we are some of the staff are also bachelor. At least if you are bachelor, then you can be upgraded to, if you start with inspector with a 5 years experience, but if you are a bachelor, then you can be upgraded to assistant resident engineer or senior engineer or resident engineer. So, yun sir. Yun na po yung aking presentation. I hope marami kayong natutunan. I don't know if you're familiar, if you're interested to know the salary packages, or I think
We are.
Yeah. Meron akong lista, hindi ko na linagay dito. Meron akong listahan. Let me just have a look on it. Okay. Itong position po na to, just for your information, these positions are the same, but the salary package and the years of experience differs depending on the budget of the project. Let's say, for example, these particular positions, years of experience and salary package are for an infrastructure project with the cost of 150 million and below. So let's say ang RE, resident engineer, ang minimum salary package niya is 25,000. Then, ang planning engineer or senior planning engineer, sorry, ang assistant resident engineer is 20,000. Ang senior plan, I'll just talk about yung mga civil engineers position. I don't have to talk about other position because we're not interested to that, di ba?
Yes, exactly.
Ang HSE manager, di ba, sometimes HSE are civil engineers, or most of the time, I believe. HSE manager is 25,000. Commercial manager, 25,000. QA/QC manager, 25,000. Assistant resident engineer, 20,000. Planning engineer, senior planning engineer, 20,000. Senior material engineer, 20,000. And then all other senior engineer, 17,500. Then we have engineers, not senior, just engineers. Planning and engineers are 14,000.
Di na masama. Okay na yan.
Ito yung pinakamababang category. I'll talk about the other category also. And then inspector ranges from 10,000. So engineers 14, senior engineer 17,500, inspectors are 10,000, document controller, no, these are okay, these are other position. A document controller 5,000. Then we have projects, sabihin ko na lang yung projects which are above or around 350 million construction budget.
Sir, may nagtatanong ng QS. Maraming QS kasi sa atin eh.
Oh, QS, okay. For this category, 150 million below, ang QS, 13,500.
For the project,
Sir,
150 million below budget.
150 million below na infrastructure.
Okay, na project. So, it will have a 13,000.
Exactly. Minimum salary, meaning hindi kayo pwedeng bigyan ng 13,000 lang. Either
Okay.
35 or above. Okay? Now, maraming category to, but let me talk about yung isa, which is 350 million. If your project is around 300 or higher than 350 million, ang senior resident engineer, okay, honestly, senior sa resident engineer position, dahil site siya, madalang lang ako makakita ng Filipino RE, but there are. I'm not saying there are no Filipino, but very rare. Most of them are Arabic speaking. Kamukha nung sinabi ni Sir na kanina na Arabic speaking ang kailangan nila. But a lot of our fellow civil engineers, madalas makita ko RE, QA/QC, QS, and engineers. Now,
But sir, maganda yung tanong na yung ano ni Mr. Fernan Ramirez. Baka mas mababa ngayon dahil sa COVID.
hindi sir, kasi po Standard kasi contractual. Siguro, baka in the future, palitan nila ulit yung minimum salary bracket, hindi natin alam. But as of now, yung current contract namin is fixed. Hindi na
Wala
pwedeng-
pa silang tinitiraan na ngayon.
Wala pa sila.
Good naman.
Hindi,
Oo.
actually, meron akong ginawang, I've prepared like 5 tenders last week. So far, the salary bracket are the same. So, hindi pa na-implement. No, boss, honestly, okay, we have a situation with COVID. The good thing with infrastructure, there are mandatory projects of the government. Yes, you're right. Clients started negotiating. We received some queries from our client to give them discount because of the situation. But I think it's a 3 months discount, but later on they will go back to normal.
Okay. Meron nga mga ganong case.
Yeah, meron, sir. Let me just finalize yung salary bracket so at least we can move forward and I can answer all the questions. Yung pong project with the budget of 350 million and above, the senior resident engineer salary is 50,000 minimum. Resident engineer is 45,000.
Pwede na siguro yun, no?
Pwede na siguro wag na tayo masaya. HSC manager, commercial manager, QA/QC, planning manager, 45,000. All those managers. Assistant resident engineer, 38,000. Senior planning engineer, 38,000. Senior material engineer, 35,000. And all disciplines, senior engineers. When I said all disciplines, these are wet utilities, like stormwater, minsan may stormwater, minsan may sewerage. Senior wet utilities engineer. So they are 35,000. Senior QS, 35,000.
Okay na, no? Daming QS sa atin.
And all engineer discipline, 28,000. Planning engineer, 28,000. QS, 28,000 and so forth.
Ganda pala ng pasahuran sa ano, ha?
Inspectors, material inspector, QAQC inspector, 16,000. Then, yeah.
Double figure, ha? Okay, ha?
Just for information sa staff, during supervision, meron ding interview. And medyo, ang interview, of course, hindi naman mahirap. But minsan kasi depende sa company. And depende sa project manager ng Musanada sa site. But the good thing with Musanada, once you are hired, once you are approved by them, they will issue a letter. You will be recommended for any other project because Musanada have a lot of projects, unbelievable number of projects. And when you are approved by them already, then you will be recommended even for other projects, for other companies. So yeah, that's the good thing. Kapag na-approve ka na, madali ka na makahanap ulit ng ibang trabaho. So yun lang po, sir. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig nyo.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Tuloy pa natin yung question and answer natin.
Yes, sir.
I guess marami tayong mga tanong dito.
Okay.
Saan daw pwede mag-send ng CV, sir?
Yun, isa sa mga tanong yun.
Maraming mga project, maraming mga companies or mga projects. So, kami, okay, kung interesado kayo sa company namin, as of now, wala pa kami nag-umpisang project, patapos yung mga project namin. But by July, hopefully, hindi maudlot, alam naman natin situation, but I think it will proceed dahil ano sila ang mga project namin, Emirati housing. But most of them are in the western region. By July, August, I think we will start hiring people. Hopefully, God willing.
Mangisali na ako, sir. Mag-apply ako.
Sir, actually, nababasa lang natin yung sa, meron nag-message sa akin kasi nanonood siya through FB Live. Nagbigay siya sa akin ng private message. The name is Engineer Abner Rivera. Can you refer benchmarking and historical data in the cost estimate or current market only? If so, what would be the safe percentage allowance to add cost per area or in the rate?
okay. Ang Musanada, sir, Musanada, they, during design stage, they accept plus minus 10% the estimated cost. Ang project, kapag in-award, actually, if it's lower, it's okay. But if it is higher than 10%, then they discuss it, and most likely it will be retender again, or there will be value engineering, cost cutting, and etc. Now, benchmarking, of course, we always have to use the latest rates. In our company, based on our experience and because of our experience, we have already this. We have already the rates. Sometimes we're getting it from actual under construction projects. Sometimes we're getting it from previous project or future project, and we approach suppliers, contractors to get the latest market value or market rate.
Anything else? Pili pa tayo, sir. Meron ka pang time?
Okay lang, sir.
Okay. Ang tanong na to. Meron ako nakita ka. Ito.
Sir Joey.
From Engineer Alvin Alejandro. Does your current contract includes both the design and supervision, or you have to bid again to get the supervision?
In Musanada, our contract with Musanada is design and supervision, but the supervision is optional. Why optional? Because it depends on your performance during design. If your design stage is delayed or you did not perform well, they will not give you the supervision. But if you perform well, they will give you the supervision. Well, with our projects, we have 5 projects with Musanada. We have 1 in Madinat Zayed, or we have 2 in Madinat Zayed. We have 1 in Delma. We have 1 in Sila. We have 1 in Mirfa. All of them have conditional or provisional supervision. But the good thing is we were also awarded the supervision because of our performance. So sa amin din yung supervision. But there are contracts which are design only, and there are contracts which are supervision only.
From Engineer Repuela, sir. Engineer Repuela told, sir, do you adapt design control point for design stages like DCP1 and DCP2?
Design control points? What do you mean by design control points? I think these are related to DCP1. I don't think we have implemented that one, sir.
Okay, so it means you did not adapt it. So, kaya nga nagala, do you adapt? Sabi niya nga. Tapos,
Sir Joey.
Okay.
Sir, during project construction stage, commonly encountered ang discrepancy ng material requirement between projects and specifications, IFC and design drawing. Despite the hierarchy of priority ng mga contract documents as per your experience, alin ba dapat ang mag-take ng precedence?
Okay, based on my experience, at saka nasa contract, sir, according to contract, particular specification presides, or nauna, you have to follow particular specification first, and then standard specification. Normally, ganun yung contract. But kaya nga sa government projects, what we normally do, because the specification of the government or the authorities are already there, fixed na, we don't do much on the particular specs. We just provide some information para mag-comply sila dun sa standard specification ng government.
So, hindi talaga, so mas ano siya nila sa IFC kaysa sa BOQ kung ganun?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Ikaw, sir, pwede kang magtanong sa kanila kung anong makasagot. Bigyan natin ang prize. Magandang sagot.
Ay, tatanong natin.
First one to answer it right.
Pwede magtanong ka, sir, kung makakuha ng tamang sagot. Yun na yun. Mamimili ka.
Ano na lang, sir?
Mo, ganun, sir, ang tanong mo.
Ano yan, sir? Sorry.
Ano daw?
May nagtatanong daw kung kaya mong disclose ang salary package mo.
Pasensya na sir.
Joke lang.
Medyo,
Hindi daw pwede. Pasensya na.
Hindi yata pwede yun.
I think narinig nyo naman kanina, minimum yon, minimum salary. So within that range.
Sir, magkano daw ba kasi yung price ng project nyo ngayon?
400 million.
Oh, alam nyo na ngayon, ha?
Aware na sila, sir, kung nasaan.
Aware na kayo ngayon, ha? Hindi na kailangang sabihan, ha?
Hindi sir, of course, later on, kung nag-apply kayo dun sa mga project namin, I mean, God willing, ma-approve or ma-qualified, dinidisclose naman namin yung minimum salary. You have to, like for example, we have projects, RE namin is 30,000. Yung ARE namin is 20,000. Yung QS namin, 17.5, I believe. And then yung engineer namin is 19 or 17.5 din yata. Mga ganong range, sir.
Sir, merong isa dito. Apply na lang ako driver mo, Sir Hero.
Alam ko, apply tayo, sir.
Yun na nga yung ano. Yung sabi ko nila. Sino pa ba?
May isa pang
Okay,
question, sir.
Okay.
Can you discuss a little bit about testing and commissioning? Depende na lang sa kanya, sir, kung kanya sagot. Baka
Ang testing and commissioning kasi, sir, depende anong klaseng testing and commissioning. We have
Baka pag sa ano yan, pag sa drainage, hindi flow rate, di ba?
sa drainage, pag sewerage, we
Flow
have
rate.
flow rate, we have hydraulic test, we have mirror test. Marami, sir. Sa asphalt, kapag road, we have anong tawag dito? So testing ng asphalt. That's why we have material engineer, di ba? But all those testing requirements, sir, lahat po yan nasa standard specification ng bawat.
Yes, exactly.
For you to be aware about that, especially, halimbawa, nag-apply ka sa site, sir, yun po yung unang-unang natin kailangan malaman, yung testing requirements. Di ba, sir? And then, yun po yung kailangan malaman. Then, yung mga sources of materials, minsan.
Anyway, sir, I will interrupt for a moment kasi karamihan sa atin nagtatanong sa atin ng paano magtrabaho para maging ano ng ano, especially pagdating sa KN International, they are engaged on government contracts. I guess for us engineers here in the UAE, especially in Abu Dhabi, you should have to have engineers approval from the ADM for the moment. Yan po ang ano, napakalaking advantage niyan. Ang number one requirement ngayon. Magkaroon tayo ng ano, DPM approval. Department of Urban Planning and Municipalities accreditation.
Tama po yan, sir. ADSSC, just for information, we have contract with ADSSC. Lahat ng engineer, kapag wala kang, actually, hinihingi mo na nila equivalency certificate. Kapag wala kang equivalency certificate, hindi ka ma-hire na engineer. Kaya marami po kaming ni-reject ng mga Filipino sa mga position namin dahil wala silang equivalency certificate. Because it's mandatory. We can't do anything about it. We are lucky in Canada, they did not start asking for it, but I know in the future, maybe within this year, actually ang pagkakaalam ko, they will roll out this within this year. Lahat ng engineer, kapag nag-apply ka ng engineer, dapat ADM registered ka and with equivalency certificate.
Actually, PICE has conducted, I guess, numerous seminars regarding equivalency, including ADM. So, I don't think medyo di bagong word yan sa atin sa mga engineer dito sa Abu Dhabi. Kasi, as you say, even last year, I guess we conducted 5 equivalency seminars. Yeah. And then, there's an ADM accreditation seminar din. So I guess hindi na sila ganun na mangangapa kasi meron na silang mga references. And I advise everybody from the PICE na mas magandang mag-apply na ngayon kasi ang bilis ng approval nila. So sinamantala ko yun, actually last week naka-apply ko na, naghihintay lang ako ng approval. Nihintay ko lang na i-attach ko yung approval ko ng SOE. Yun na lang ang hinihintay ko and then attach ko dun sa approval ko ng ADM, that's it. Yun lang yung komento sa akin. So yung SOE sa akin is yesterday, nagkomento, na-comply ko naman. So hinihintay ko lang yung approval nila and then upload sa ADM, then finish na. So I advise fellow engineers, especially here in Abu Dhabi, sana po maging maagap na kayo ngayon kasi later on baka salain na tayo ng salain kasi nga baka umiikli na yung mundo natin, especially dito sa crisis na to, maybe there could be more. Pero mas maganda siguro, maganda naman kasi meron nagbubukas na tayo but really don't know what is going to come.
Ay, ibig mong sabihin, sir, pag registered ka na, mas madali nang makakuha ng equipment.
Yes, it's yung kamukha nga sabi ni Sir Hero, meron silang project, hinahanapan ADM registered. Marami silang nire-reject kasi hindi sila ADM registered.
Ako, sir, SOE na ako, so pwede na ako mag-proceed ng one.
Kung meron kang equivalency, why not, sir? Mabilis na. Basic na lang, basic requirement na lang yung kailangan mo.
Sige, sir.
Sir Hero, pwede kang magtanong sa kanila.
Actually, sir, yung kanina, yung sa presentation ko, if napakinggan nyo na mabuti, especially sa design, pag na-interview kayo sa Musanada, ganun most likely yung mga tanong. They don't go into details. They go into the flow chart, into the procedure. They ask those procedure, who are the stakeholders, what are the stages, what do I need to do during preliminary design. So gusto ko lang malaman, sir, baka may baka natatandaan pa nila, ano yung mga stages ng pre-contract or design stage? Kung may nakakaalam or nakaka-remember.
Maganda, sir? Ako ulit, sir?
Yung project stages during design or pre-contract stage. What are the project stages? Yung nasabi ko, diniscuss ko kanina. So, yun sir, yun yung tanong. Type ko lang.
Ayun, sir, merong nag-reply. Master plan, inception stage, concept design, sabi naman ng isa.
Tama.
Maraming stage yun. Hindi lang isa yung one, yung sagot.
Ay, paramihan sila. Siyempre, kung may pinakamaraming sagot, yun ang panalo. Kaya lang, pag sumasagot ang BOD, hindi naman pwedeng manalo. Sorry lang. Daya daw, sabi ni Lainey kasi the Secretary of the PICE UAE. High level cost. Yes, sir, pili ka kung sino makakatama, sir. Magbibigay tayo ng
Tignan natin. Yung maraming nasagot. Saka nag-umpisa yung ko. By the way, sir, just for your information, if you're willing to transition into infrastructure, ang company namin, there are some engineers, like for example sa PSME, yung isa sa mga manager namin doon, ina-allow niya yung mga organization mates niya na mag-training sa company namin to have an experience in infrastructure. We do that. So if you're willing, why not? We can discuss and you can approach us.
Sure, sir. Pag-iisipan ko yan.
Sino ba yung marami concept, preliminary, detailed, yan, basics.
Yun.
Ito, sir.
JR Pebla.
Ayan, sir. Sinagot na lahat.
Dahil marami kang sinagot, sir, hindi ka pwedeng manalo. Ay, hindi. Panalo siya, sir. So, kay Sir Idos at saka kay Sir JP, ganito yung mapapanalunan nila ng jacket. Yan.
T-shirt yung isa.
Hindi. Jacket pareho sila. Sir Idos at saka si Sir JP. So, yun. At syempre, ano pa pong sir? Okay ka na ba? Or ano?
Kung wala nang tanong, then thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yung mga gusto pang magtanong, you can, sir, kukunin namin yung email mo para isesend sa kanila yung mga gustong magtanong.
Yes, sir.
Doon nyo na lang po ituloy yung tanong sa kanya na ibibigay po na. Sir, pakitype doon sa yung email ad mo, sir, para sa mga magtatanong sa'yo.
Para sa mga magsesend ng CV.
Okay. Tsaka magsesend ng CV pa. Sir Abby? Nandiyan pa ba si Sir Abby?
Dali, yan mute.
Again, I want to remind everybody, this is the perfect time for you to get your ADM approval kasi ang bilis nilang mag-review.
Sir Abby.
Iya.
Nawawala. Sir Abby.
Sir, meron lang yan. Addition, hierarchy of contract documents for Infra. Pwede makahingi ng list.
Yes, sir. Meron po kaming ganyan. Apparently, I don't have it here. But of course, I can share that. What you can
Yes,
do,
sir.
sir, if...
Sir, pero magbibigay ka naman ng slide mo, di ba?
Yeah,
I-share mo naman yung slide mo, di ba?
I can do that if you need it, sir. No problem.
Yeah, sir.
Paano ko isi-share, sir? Sa inyo ko na lang
Sir, yes, sir. Meron na akong mga email, sir, ng mga attendees natin. Si Sir Angelito, yes po, meron po tayong self-directed CPD certificate. Self-directed muna po kasi po until now, ang PRC ay wala pang maayos na guideline regarding the webinar. Although meron po tayo, pagdating naman po sa pagpapa-accredit ng ASEAN, ang mga certificate natin, hindi na ko question. ASEAN, ACPE, APEC.
Pakiusap dun sa mga participants na hindi full name yung name nila dito sa
Okay.
Zoom.
So, Engineer Jadet, press pakisend ng requirements prior to obtain ADM engineer. Mandatory requirement po yung certificate of equivalency. I will send, okay, sige po. I-share ko rin po sa mga attendees ngayon yung step-by-step procedure ng certificate of equivalency.
Habang may oras pa. Sige, sir.
Pwede po, hindi taga-ADM, pwedeng mag-apply ng ADM engineer. Pwede rin po. Hindi po nililimit nila yon. So, before we finish ang si Sir Abby, wala na, no?
Wala na, sir.
O, sige. Sir Hero, one of these days, pupuntahan ka namin. So, we have a Year 2020 jacket na ibibigay ko sa inyo. So, ito po yung jacket natin for the year 2020. Yan. Hindi po siya for raffles, of course, kasi po medyo mahal. At saka po bordado lahat. Hindi po siya hindi po siya
Hindi siya
sublimated. Hindi siya sublimated. Wala nang rubberized. Wala nang mga rubberized. Sublimation na. So, ito po yung magiging ni Sir Hero. Sir, ito po yung para sa'yo. And then, the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers. So, marami kaming stocks ngayon. Pag gusto nyong umorder at magpagawa, just contact Engineer Rachel of our business
Magkano daw, sir?
manager. Ha?
Magkano daw?
140. 150. Nandun sa lang. Huwag kayong mag-usap. Ayun. Tapos, Sir Hero, before we finish, meron kaming sa'yo. Pati lang. Ang tagal. So, hindi po kami pwedeng magbigay ng PMs na kaya. Baka maano kami ng ng Department of Trade and Industry. Mainit ngayon sa...
Sandali, andyan si Sir Aba. Hindi ko makita yung kanya.
Okay, ito na. So, ako na lang magbibigay. Sir, ito rin po yung...
Sir, raise hand ka, Sir Aba. Bakel.
Sir Hero?
Yes, sir.
I guess nakikita niyo yung appreciation namin para sa'yo. This certificate of appreciation. Nakikita mo, sir?
Hindi.
It will appear, sir. I think paano ko lang.
Kita na po ba?
Hindi
pa.
Sir.
Sandali lang. Ulit.
Ayan, sir. Ayan.
Hindi. Inulit ko na. Wala nang bawian. Okay? Kita na po?
Yan. Yes, sir.
And certificate of appreciation is given to Engineer Hero P. Infante for facilitating the seminar for webinar lecture series titled Design Management for Infrastructure Works, conducted this 12 June of 2020 from 1 to 4 p.m. through Zoom Cloud Meeting. Contact hours is 3 hours. Ayun na po si Sir Abby, siya po sana talaga magbabasa para sa iyo at na-late lamang.
Hindi nakapasok.
Sir, I will give you the hard copy of this certificate as well today. Today, well, not today, one of these days. At saka yung jacket mo. So, next meeting po, magbibigay po tayo uli ng mga prizes sa mga but this time around medyo mas magiging strict kami sa mga pagdating sa registration. So kasi since this is the first time, so I told them kung sinong makapasok, sige free na, pati certificate kahit hindi sila renewed member. This is for the sake din na kasi marami naghihirap. Maybe we can give more to others, but of course, kailangan maramdaman pa rin ng natin na kung ano yung nakukuha ng active member. Tapos sana po magsipag-renew po kayo at saka sa mag-encourage po kayo ng mga kasama natin sa sa PICE UAE na umattend at mag-encourage kayo ng new members kasi PICE is not just seminars, it's also trying to extend your network. Dumarami ang kakilala mo, tumataas ang ang chance mong makakuha ng trabaho. Although it's not an assurance that you will get the job, but marami kang malalaman. Tsaka yun, natututo ka kasi through seminars. Magkakaroon ka ng maraming kaibigan. And then, once again po, maraming salamat po sa mga sa mga nag-attend ng seminar natin. Tapos, Happy Independence Day po sa atin lahat. Tapos po, keep safe po kasi hindi po natin nakikita ang kalaban. See you next week po kasi po related din po sa Infra yung next week na natin, seminar. This is regarding naman to, estimate ng pipeline works. So, marami pa tayong susunod na Infra. Then later on may BIM tayo, meron tayong pang QS, may pang design. Sir Abby, do you want to add something? Bago closing remark ni speaker. Sandali, naka-disable siya. Okay, Sir Abby.
Thank you, Sir Engineer Hero. Yung topic. Bali sa next meeting po natin, ina-arrange na rin po ni Napres ng PICE yung isang webinar ulit. May mga topic na tayo, the practical guide on estimating pipeline works. Related din po sa infrastructure. Speaker po natin ni si Engineer Jeffrey Alensub. May nagtanong po kanina dun sa BIM. Naka-schedule na rin po yung BIM natin kay under Engineer Rachel. Yan po. I-advise po namin yung mga webinar, lecture sa group chat natin.
Okay, Sir Hero, any parting words po?
Maraming salamat, sir, sa PICE, BOD, especially for allowing me to share my
Thank you din, sir.
experience. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. It's my first time and it's really a pleasure to always serve PICE. Maraming salamat, sir, at mabuhay po.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. See you next week po. Yun lamang po. See you. Stay safe. Serero, lang tayo, message. So, pag ganun na lang, pag nakikita tayo or ganito. So, guys, thank you. Then, kamukha ng nasabi ko, magsisend ako ng guidelines ulit sa pagkuha ng Certificate of Equivalency. Or later on, siguro sa mga susunod na seminar, isisingit ko ng konti-konti yung equivalency rin. So, at least maraming makakakita kung paano makuha. Yun lamang po. Sir Hero, Sir Mike, and foreign in behalf of the BODs and officers, thank you so much. God bless you all. Take care. We are signing off for today's webinar. Thank you po.
Ba't pati si Sir nag-exit?